I signed the divorce papers and left them on the kitchen island next to his cold coffee, right before I found the ultrasound in my sister's purse. My husband, Brandon, had spent 3 years telling me I was a useless burden, but it turns out he was busy building a secret life with the one person I trusted most. Look at me. I'm standing in a $4 million estate in Oak Ridge, and I feel like a squatter. Have you ever been told you're a ghost in your own home? That's what Brandon did. He didn't hit me. He didn't raise his voice often. He just erased me, one useless comment at a time. Before we go any further, I want you to look at your own life. If you gave up your career, your dreams, and your identity to build someone else's empire, and they threw you away like yesterday's trash, would you walk away quietly? Or would you make sure they lost every single brick of the empire you helped them build? Let me know in the comments, because tonight, the ghost is coming back to life. Did you even remember to pick up my dry cleaning, Maya? Brandon's voice echoed from the marble hallway. I didn't even look up from the stove. I knew he was checking his silver Rolex. He always does that before he says something to make me feel small. It's a rhythmic ritual. Check the time, sigh at the wife. He knows I picked it up. He saw the plastic bag in the guest room when he went in there to hide his phone call earlier. He's just looking for a reason to start a fight so he can feel like the hero in his new story. I picked it up at 4, I said. He walked into the kitchen, smelling like expensive cedar wood cologne and the kind of arrogance that only comes with a 7-figure salary. He looked at the dinner I'd spent 3 hours making, lemon herb chicken and roasted asparagus. He didn't even sit down. He just poked at a piece of chicken with a silver fork like it was a dead lab rat. Well, it's not in the primary closet, he snapped. See? This is what I mean. You have one job, Maya. You don't work, you don't have kids, you just have to manage this house, and you can't even put a shirt in a closet? You're becoming useless. Honestly, I don't know why I keep trying with you. It's like talking to a wall. I stared at the floor. The grout between the tiles was perfectly white because I'd scrubbed it on my hands and knees for 4 hours today. I put it in the guest room, Brandon. The primary closet was full of things that aren't mine. There are boxes in there, silk dresses I've never seen, shoes that aren't my size. I didn't want to mess up your organization by forcing my things in there. He froze, just for a second. The fork hit the plate with a sharp clink. Those are gifts for my mother's charity gala, he muttered. His eyes darted to the side. I didn't have time to store them at the office. Whatever, I'm going out. I have a closing that's going late. Don't wait up. And for God's sake, turn the heater down. You're burning money like it grows in the backyard. As the door slammed, I didn't cry. I went to the guest room and pulled a pair of gold sunflower earrings out of his suit pocket. I knew these. My sister, Chloe, bought them last month at a boutique downtown. She'd bragged about how they were one of a kind. I gripped them so hard the post pierced my thumb, drawing a tiny bead of blood. My phone buzzed. It was Chloe.
Hey, sis. Coming over to vent. This guy I'm seeing is being a total jerk. He says his wife is suspect now. See you in 5. XOXO. She blew into the house 5 minutes later like a hurricane of expensive perfume and fake sympathy. Chloe is the golden child, the top realtor, the sister who made it. I was just the sister who married well. I need a drink, Maya. Seriously, men are the absolute worst, she said, pouring a glass of my most expensive Chardonnay without asking. She didn't even look at the dinner I'd spent all afternoon preparing. To her, I was just a domestic fixture, like the dishwasher or the toaster. She's wearing the matching sunflower necklace. She isn't even trying to hide it anymore. She thinks I'm too broken to notice. She thinks the useless wife has lost her eyes because she's been staring at the floor for too long. What's wrong with the new guy? I asked, my voice shaking. He's just stuck, Chloe said, sipping her wine. He's married to this woman who is a total lead weight. She doesn't contribute. She just sits there in her big house while he does all the heavy lifting. He wants to leave, Maya. He really does. But he's worried she'll take him for everything he's worth because she has nothing of her own. Can you imagine being that much of a burden on a successful man? It's basically theft. I think I can imagine it, Chloe, I said quietly. She went to the bathroom, leaving her bag wide open on the island. My heart hammered against my ribs. I reached in, expecting to find a phone or a receipt. Instead, I found a white envelope from the West Side Women's Clinic. I opened it. It was a sonogram. But the name on the file wasn't Chloe Vance. It was Maya Vance. My name. My insurance group number. My identity. She didn't just take my husband. She's using my identity to hide the pregnancy so our parents don't find out until she's ready to replace me. She's erasing me to become me. I put the envelope back before she came out. I acted normal. I even hugged her when she left. But as soon as her taillights faded, the useless wife died. Brandon thinks I'm a burden because I don't have a paycheck. He forgot that before I married him, I had a master's degree in forensic accounting. I spent 5 years at a top-tier firm finding money that people didn't want found. I quit because he said he wanted a traditional home. What he really wanted was a witness who didn't know how to read the books. I went into his home office. The air smelled of his cigars and old leather. He'd always told me never to touch his computer. Firm business only, Maya. You wouldn't understand the complexities of the Davidson merger. I logged in. He used the same password for everything, quarterback12MA, his high school jersey number, and his firm's initials. Arrogance is a forensic accountant's best friend. I didn't look for emails. I looked for the hidden partitions. I found a folder titled Landscaping Oak Ridge. It was 40 gigabytes. I opened it. It wasn't photos of grass. It was a digital ledger for C&B Estates. C for Chloe, B for Brandon. I clicked into a subfolder labeled Consulting Fees. My hands were cold as I scrolled. Brandon wasn't just paying for Chloe's apartment, he was paying for her life. There were receipts for a $5,000 nursery set, a $2,000 stroller, all bought with C&B funds. But then I saw the notes column in his spreadsheet. Brandon had written notes next to the transfers. He'd written payment for the Waits lifestyle next to a mortgage payment, bonus for the sister who actually works. He'd typed next to a $10,000 wire to Chloe's personal account. He called me the Wait. In his own private records, I wasn't his wife. I was a line item. I was an expense to be managed. I kept digging. The rabbit hole went deeper. He wasn't just moving our savings. He was funneling money from his law firm's client escrow accounts, money meant for orphans, for medical settlements, for grieving families, into this shell company. He was kiting checks. He was taking retainer fees from injury victims to pay for Chloe's luxury lifestyle. He was committing felony embezzlement on a massive scale. Then I found the scan of my own driver's license. He had used a high-resolution scanner to crop my face and my signature. He'd created a digital Maya that existed only to sign for high-interest loans and risky investments. He had taken out a $500,000 line of credit in my name 3 months ago. You didn't just want to leave me, Brandon. You wanted to bury me. You were building a cage made of debt and fraud, and you were going to lock me in it while you and Chloe flew away to a life built on my credit score. I felt a strange, cold calm wash over me. I wasn't a ghost anymore. I was a predator. I opened a new tab and logged into the firm's internal server using the backdoor credentials he'd left saved in his browser. I didn't just download the files. I cross-referenced them with the firm's master ledger. I found the $2.1 million hole in the Davidson merger. I found the lease agreement for a luxury condo downtown. It was in my name. He had forged my signature to create a crash pad for him and my sister.
If the firm ever audited the accounts, the paper trail would lead straight to me. I was his fall girl. I was the useless wife he was going to pin a multi-million-dollar crime on. I sat there in the dark, and for the first time in years, I thought about our childhood. Chloe was always the one who broke things, and I was always the one who took the blame. She broke Mom's vase. I told them I did it so she wouldn't get grounded. She failed a test. I stayed up all night tutoring her for the retake. I remembered the time she stole a necklace from a girl at school when we were 12. She hid it in my backpack. When the principal found it, I didn't say a word. I let them suspend me because I didn't want Chloe to lose her spot on the cheer team. I've been your professional scapegoat since the 6th grade, Chloe. But this isn't a broken vase. This is a federal prison sentence. And this time, I'm not saying I did it. I didn't call a lawyer. I didn't call my parents. I opened my private cloud drive and started the upload. Folder 1, the C&B ledger. Folder 2, the forged signatures and the lease agreement. Folder 3, the sonogram image I'd snapped a photo of. Folder 4, the insurance fraud logs showing Chloe using my ID. I sent a BCC email to the managing partner of Miller & Associates, Mr. Sterling. I knew Sterling. He was a man who valued the firm's reputation above all else. I labeled the subject line, Urgent Financial Discrepancies in the Davidson Merger. When Brandon came home at 7 a.m., smelling like gin and my sister's perfume, I was in the kitchen. I had a fresh pot of coffee waiting. I looked tired, defeated, exactly how he liked me. "Still up?" he muttered, grabbing a mug. "I thought you'd be asleep. God knows you don't have anything else to do." "I was thinking about the future, Brandon," I said softly. "I think you're right. I am a burden. I think I should just leave. I'll go stay with my cousin. Give me a small settlement, just $10,000, and I'll sign a clean break agreement today. I won't ask for the house or the savings." He nearly choked on his coffee. He looked at me like I was the dumbest person on earth. $10,000? And you'll sign a full release? No future claims on the firm or the estate? I just want to be gone, Brandon. I'm tired of being useless. Look at him. He's practically vibrating with joy. He thinks he's getting away with a $2 million theft for the price of a used car. He thinks the ghost is just floating away. At 2 p.m., we met at the corner cafe. It was a bright, busy place. Brandon pushed the paper toward me. "Sign it, Maya. Let's not make this a scene," he whispered. I signed. I took my time, making sure every loop of my name was perfect. I pushed the paper back to him. "Is it done?" he asked. "For me? Yes," I said. "But Brandon..." Big pause. "You should really check your work email. I think Mr. Sterling has some questions about C&B estates." The door opened, and Mr. Sterling walked in with 2 men in dark suits. They weren't police. Not yet. They were private investigators hired by the firm's insurance carrier. "Brandon," Mr. Sterling said. His voice was a low growl. "We just finished auditing the Davidson escrow account. Your wife was kind enough to send us a very detailed email this morning. It included the login credentials for C&B Estates." Brandon turned the color of ash. He tried to grab the signed agreement, but the investigators were faster. They took the folder. You told them?" he stammered. "You said I was useless, Brandon. I just wanted to show you I could still balance a ledger. It turns out I'm actually very good at my job. Better than you were at yours. The agreement I just signed only protects him from civil claims from me. It doesn't protect him from a federal embezzlement charge or a disbarment hearing. He's technically clean with me, but he's ruined with the world." I watched as they led him out of the cafe. He looked small. For the first time in 3 years, he didn't look like a senior partner. He looked like a scared little boy who'd been caught with his hand in the cookie jar. But I wasn't done. I had one more stop. I drove straight to Chloe's real estate office. I didn't wait for the receptionist. I walked into her glass-walled room and threw the sonogram on her desk, right on top of her leather-bound planner. "You forgot this in your bag last night," I said. Chloe didn't even look up at first. "Maya, Look, we love each other. You were just a ghost in that house. I'm the one who actually makes him feel like a man. You were just a lead weight around his neck." "You're the one who's going to be sued for insurance fraud, Chloe," I said. I leaned over her desk, my shadow falling over her face. "I've already called the West Side Clinic. I told them my identity was stolen. I told them I never authorized a C. Vance to use my insurance group. They're pulling the security footage of you signing my name as we speak." Chloe's phone buzzed on the desk. It was a text from Brandon. "It's over. The firm knows everything. They're calling the DA. I'm leaving the state. Don't call me. I can't deal with this. You're on your own." "He's leaving you, Chloe, just like he left me. Only you're the one holding the bag and the baby. And without his consulting fees from the firm, how are you going to pay for that car or this office?" "You ruined my life," Chloe screamed. She stood up, her expensive hair falling into her eyes. "He was going to take care of me. We were going to be happy." "You're going to be happy on my grief. And for that, I'm sending you back to where you belong, Mom and Dad's basement. I hope the guest room there is big enough for all those silk dresses Brandon bought you." 6 months later, I'm sitting in a small apartment by the beach. It's 1,200 square feet of pure freedom. The estate in Oak Ridge was seized. Brandon is currently serving 5 to 7 years for embezzlement and fraud. He lost his license, his house, and his pride. I heard he spent most of his time in prison trying to explain to the guards that he's actually a very important lawyer. They don't seem to care. My mother calls me sometimes, crying, asking how I could be so cruel to my own sister. I just tell her that I finally learned how to be useful. I learned how to clean up the trash in my own life. So, I have to ask you, if your own flesh and blood stole your name and your husband, would you have been as useless as I was? Or would you have burned the house down sooner? Would you have stayed for the child? Or would you have walked away with your soul intact? I think you know my answer. Check the closet, ladies. You never know what's hiding in the silk until you decide to stop being a ghost. And Brandon, if you're listening, I kept a DSUV. It runs great.